Well, welcome to another Your Partnerships Meet, and I'm so happy to be in the studio with my new pals from PALS. That's a different one. So, if I would, I'll begin with you, Mandy. Tell them what PALS is first of all. What am I alluding to?
So PALS is a new little business that we've started, the two of us. It stands for Property Assessments for Landlords Services Limited.
Now, you say new, but I'll pick you up on that. It's newly incorporated business. But how much experience do the two of you have?
Oh gosh, well, yeah. So um, we're both former private sector housing enforcement officers. We decided to take early retirement, and we've set up our own little company. The main purpose was to offer assessments under the Housing Health and Safety Rating System,
Mm-hmm.
HHSRS,
Yep.
which is Housing Act 2004, which is what we've been doing in the council for many, many years. But we also realised that we needed another string to our bow. So we also offer fire risk assessments. So we've got ourselves third party accredited, and we can do fire risk assessments of offices, shops, HMOs, communal areas in flats. In fact, we can do the lot, the
Cool.
sort of smaller, uncomplicated buildings.
Well, we were talking a bit about this before we went on camera. And Tracy, we were looking at the different types of properties and how you approach those in a real personable manner as well. If you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my background's slightly different from Mandy's. I'm an
Mm.
environmental health officer, but went into housing about 6 or 7 years ago now. When I do the housing inspections, I always just go in and I think if I'm in an HMO, house multiple occupations, full of
Yep.
students, I kind of think I've got two children, both were students. Am I happy for them to stay here
Let's say
that night?
you must see some interesting things going into the
Yeah,
HMO.
the students the properties really vary. To be fair, in Cornwall, I would say the standard's quite high
Okay,
because
good.
compared to the ones I looked at for my
Mm,
children, one was in Coventry and the other
yep.
one was in Cardiff.
Yep.
Cornwall ones were a higher standard
Yep.
actually, so maybe the local authority are doing a good job.
One of my youngest is in one right now up in
Yeah.
London, so I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So yeah, I always just think, and from a security point of view as well, if I'm in a property, I kind of think, would I be happy to
Mm,
sleep here this tonight? And obviously, like Mandy was saying about the hazards, the first thing everybody thinks of is fire, but there's also quite a lot of other hidden hazards as well that the
yeah.
students never think of, which is, obviously they've got detection in the properties. They've all
Yep.
got smoke detectors of some kind in the student places. Um, if they go off, can they actually get out? Most of them have filled their hallway with
Oh,
surfboards
too
and
much stuff. Yeah,
coats and
clutter.
clutter. They can't actually get out.
And
They
some of
got.
them might be under the influence of something every now and then.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
occasionally they might
you know.
not be quite as quick-witted as they think they are. So yeah, we do when we've done our inspections, we've come
Mm,
across a lot of very different things in houses.
yeah,
But that's the student properties, and then obviously we do all private sector rented properties we've been inspecting. So a lot of HMOs with people maybe, vulnerable people really
yeah,
living in them. And, you've got to think, how are they going to get out? Some of them
yes,
may even have mobility issues and things. So I've
absolutely.
always been very aware of just even thinking about the stairs, the doors, how quickly can they get out through the doors and get themselves safe?
Well, I think all this is amazing because I mean, you come from years and years of experience together, different parts as well,
Mm.
which makes it interesting as well. And I think that I mean, if I dare say it, to mother type
Yeah,
caring is what I'm getting at. Individuals that's not just paperwork and we're going to do that and what has to be done. And speaking of having to get it done, I'll come back to you, Mandy. We were talking earlier about because I know some people look at this stuff and go, well, yeah, I'll be fine. I don't need any of that. Why do people need to do fire risk and safety? I mean, what's the big deal if they don't?
Well, to start with, the fire risk assessments,
Mm,
there's actually a legal requirement
yes.
under the Regulatory Reform Fire Safety Order. So any building that is operated that has staff or members of the public, they should have a suitable and sufficient fire risk
Yep.
assessment. Not the building owner.
Yep.
We were we were basically told the best way to describe it is if somebody came and knocked on the door, it's the person who opens the door. They are responsible for securing a fire risk
Yep.
assessment. So it's the person
Responsible person. Yep.
operating in that building.
Mm,
Many business owners are mistakenly believe that it's the building owner who's responsible
Yep.
for it. We actually did a little quiz at the Cornwall Business Show quite
Hmm.
recently, and most people selected that. We did a multiple choice
Yep.
question and asked who's responsible, and most people believed it was the building owner.
Incorrect. Yep.
Yeah, so but it's not. It's the person who's operating the business, and of course, the consequences of not having one. Um, they're leaving themselves open to prosecution from Cornwall Fire and Rescue Service,
Yep.
um, depending on the condition of the property or whether there's any risks in the property. The severity of any fine would increase if it was found that there were matters that presented a risk in the
And if
property.
something happens, loss of productivity, possibly loss of life. I
Yeah,
mean, all of those things, loss of
yeah,
reputation,
and
just
insurance.
everything. Yep.
Your
And
insurance
insurance.
is invalid if you don't
Yeah,
have a
absolutely.
fire risk assessment.
Well, that should say it all. But I think the main thing isn't just because it's the right thing to do. I mean, is that?
Absolutely. I mean,
Mm,
if you've got a building and you've got staff and customers, then the building should be safe for them to be in it.
absolutely. So, Tracy, going back to you again, what would you say if people are watching this and they don't know how to get a hold of you? You know, how do they get a hold of you? Why should they get a hold of you? And any other products or services we haven't talked
I
about?
mean, for both things really, for the fire risk assessment
Mm,
and for the housing health safety rating system assessments, we do both of them. We can do both at the same time, more or less. So we can go into a property, look at all the communal areas and do the fire risk assessment under that. Then we can also go into the flats, and obviously we're still checking for fire hazards, but we'll also look at other hazards in the property as well to make sure it's safe. So we can look at the windows, the stairs, damp and mold, all the hazards that might be in the property. So we've kind of got a unique look at it really, because we can go in and do both, whereas most people specialize in one or
one
the
or the other.
other. So we can do that. Why they should do it? We've got the Renters Reform Act just gone through Parliament, and it will make changes.
Yes.
Tenants will have more. They'll be more empowered. They'll know that they can make complaints to the local authority. The local authority is going to have to, there's a burden on them coming through that will mean that they need to do more enforcement.
Yep.
It may be funded. There may be funded places that they can go out, do more inspections without the burden of producing a whole prosecution case. They can just go into a property and issue fines, not
Yep.
perhaps on the spot fines, but there's up to £7,000 per hazard found in a property, and that'll be coming in next year.
Mm.
So there is changes. There is
And
changes.
economically speaking, we already talked about morally speaking, you should do it, obviously, and
Mm.
everything
Yeah.
that goes with that. But economically speaking, number one, like you said, if you paying for your insurance is invalid, well, that's a waste of money anyway. So it just makes sense to get you guys in, just because
That's,
it
they can
covers it
claim their
all.
rent back as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Tenant can claim their rent back if they're in a property and they've got hazards in the
Well, there
property
we
that are
go.
Up
proven.
to 2 years
Yeah, they're going
now.
to be able to
Yeah.
Wow.
claim their rent back. So that's a financial implication
Yes,
as well, isn't it, on that?
massive.
And they are going to know about that,
So
I
some
think.
landlords are panicking when you just said
Yeah.
that. Wow.
Yeah, so there's definitely changes. I mean, some people are describing the Renters Reform Act as the biggest change since the Housing Act, aren't
Mm,
they?
Yep.
So it is a big
since
change coming.
2004.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend you get a hold of these great ladies and find, if nothing else, you'll go out and just give them an assessment to begin with. Anyway, they can look at what's taking place, and what they should put in place. And I think a lot of times people are just scared to engage with somebody because they're afraid about how much is it going to cost. So I mean, put them at ease a little bit, Mandy. Let them know what's happening there.
Well, initially, if somebody was to contact us, we would need a little bit of information about what type of building it is.
Mm,
We'd give them a price to do the assessment, but it doesn't just stop there. We don't just send out the report and that's it. We offer advice on, because very often there's various solutions
yep.
to an issue. So though the report might make one suggestion, there could be a list of other ways
Mm.
to do it. So it doesn't just stop with a report. We provide ongoing support following one of our
If they want a
assessments.
ballpark figure for that, say about 250.
Okay.
And with that, we're going to go in, look at the property,
Mm.
do whichever assessment that they want, and like Mandy said, all the follow-up work as well. It
And
can vary. It will vary.
Yeah,
sure, but
depending
But
on
as
the
a
size of the
ballpark
building.
figure,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's
But
where people can
thank you
start to
for
think we're
answering
going to
because people get
start.
that fear, don't they?
Yeah, I
When
didn't
you
want
don't
people.
know a price at all, you sort of like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah.
Mm.
So that's like I said, it's obviously, and nothing would be hidden. If we had to
Mm,
change it, we would talk to people on the phone. They
Mm.
get
sure.
they get a service order with exactly the amount that we would be charging. So
Sure.
it's nothing, no hidden
We
costs
have
on
been
it.
known to underquote, haven't we? And we've just,
Yeah.
Yeah, you
that's,
learn that in business.
yeah, you just think,
Yeah.
well, that's what we said we'd charge.
We'll
Yeah.
stick to it.
Yeah.
Well, you learn those cutting your teeth at the beginning of the business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is hard. It is rough. But look, we're gonna need to wrap up here in a few minutes. Always like to give it back to Cornwall Channel for bringing us out here today as well. So first time out in the studios, you said you found it quite easily, which is great.
Yes.
So what would you say to anybody that hasn't visited here before? What do you think of the whole layout and the way you're welcomed and all those type of things?
Marvelous. Lovely
Yeah.
coffee, lovely friendly people,
We learned we're
easy
gonna
to find.
we learned we're gonna get a fire blanket in the
You're going to
the
get a
kitchen
fire
set.
blanket in your kitchen set. Yeah.
Well, it might have been there. We didn't look hard enough, but yeah, we need it mounted and
You should
ready
need
to
to
go.
look for it.
Exactly.
Should be right there.
Should be right there. But yeah, no. But look, it's been great having you guys out here. It's been great having you into the network as well. You came flying in and just started gaining attention right away. And so yeah, I guess the last thing I'd ask even for the network is, how have you found interacting with the other people in the network? This type stuff.
We've enjoyed it, haven't we?
Mm,
We've met
Yeah.
some lovely people and they're all very supportive.
good.
And learnt a lot as well,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's not a background that we've come from. We've expect, suddenly we're running our own business. You've got
Yes.
to go out, make contacts, and
Mm.
get the work. And yeah, it's been really supportive, like Mandy
And,
said. So it's done
and
us.
every day out network, it's like a school day, really, because
Yeah.
you learn. Well, you learn from
Yeah.
the other professionals that are there, and
Mm.
Yeah,
yeah,
we've
Yeah.
definitely. It's been a bit of a learning curve business wise.
we were out there.
Absolutely.
The three of us were out
Yeah.
there earlier talking about websites and SEOs and Google, but we don't know what we're really talking about, but we know what we hear other people talking about.
Yeah.
Well, we
Yeah,
certainly
exactly.
know of it more now than we did when we worked for the council.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we do
absolutely.
indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we'll wrap it up there. I want to thank Shane for letting us use the studio out here, and of course the Master J's behind the decks there, taking care of us. But Mandy and Tracy, thank you so much. My pals from PAL, or pals from PALs. There we go,
Yeah.
get it right. But thanks for coming on today, and I hope you've enjoyed it.
We
Yeah.
have, and thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
See
Yeah.
you soon. Take care. Bye bye.